Call from an inmate at the Correctional Training Facility, Soledad, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Say what's going on, homie. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, loved ones?
All right, so who we got calling in today?
Hey, this is Pete calling from CTF Salinas, Central.
Okay, hey, thank you for calling, man. Before you get started with your story, how long have you been incarcerated?
I've been incarcerated for 25 years on a second-degree murder.
Okay, man, I'm sorry to hear that, man, and I hope that eventually you'll be able to gain your freedom. So go ahead and give us your story.
But you don't know.
Go ahead.
You don't gotta feel sorry. I did it. You know, but yeah, I'll be here next time. I've done this time. I did the crime. I've done this time. I've done a dozen other things. So I've earned my time. So it ain't no sad years for me. Just know I put in the work to be there next year too, though.
All right, so go ahead and give us your story, man, and before you start, just plug in your podcast.
Absolutely. Hey, so before I go in with this story, go to lockedin.info. That's lockedin.info. It's my COVID brainchild. We got some solid dudes. We're trying to get out of prison. Real solid dudes. Been down 30, 40 years. Don't even have bodies to their name. Also, check out our podcast. Subscribe to it and support that. All right. So, look, let me get into this story. All right. So, this is Salinas Valley. Level 4 B yard. I want to say year 2000. It could have been 99, but I want to say 2000. So we got a homie on the yard, right? He out of Gilbert Street, and he has the bag. And so basically, he's bringing in all the black. He got all the weed. So pretty much at this time, the yard is running smooth. Anytime there's a lot of dope being brought onto a prison yard, everybody's happy. Everybody's getting along. So the homie from Gilbert Street had a mentality of town above everything. So he was all San Bernardino. But like I said, we was cool with everybody. So on his B-Day fall, so he takes some of his partners he cool with, right? One of these dudes was a brother from Swan that had the Bloods, right? He had the yard. He was a solid dude, too, real respectful. So they go up on the little corner of the yard, and they celebrating the homie birthday. They smoking blunts. They got white lighting out there, and they're doing what they do. So one of the younger Damus that's been owing the homie, and he just been owing them crumbs. He pressed up on their little party and said, "Hey, man, let me hit that blunt." So the homie is like, "Listen, man, you owe me." And he was, "Oh, man, you tripping on that small stuff?" Now, just for clarity, the homie was no nonsense, right? He got along with a lot of people, but he didn't play no games, right? He's not one of these dudes that's going to be horse playing, sex playing. He wasn't with none of that. And he was known for having hands. So, they go back, they have their little back and forth, and the homie two-piece of backpack and put them on his pockets, right? Now, dude get up, he don't do nothing. But the Damus, obviously, they're not willing to accept him not doing nothing. So the conversation was had like, "Listen, you guys are just going to squabble up, a quick head-up phase, and shake hands and this shit be over with. We get back to doing what we're doing."
Okay.
So unbeknownst to the IEs and unbeknownst to the LA Bloods, this dude spins off in fear of the homie. He goes grab a knife, and he hides it in one of those tall hard time mugs, right? So nobody knows this. So they go orchestrate the fade, which was going to be on the side of the yard that had a blind spot. And it was going to be a small circle of dudes around them. But they locked up for a quick 45 seconds or whatever, right? And let it be over with. But when they go into this circle, this dude has this cup in his hand. And he pulls out this knife. So when one of the homies from Rialto see he has a knife, he immediately jumps in. And oh, this nigga got a heat. So when the Damus on the rest of the yard see that, oh, they jumping the homie, it pops off. Everybody runs over there, right?
Right.
Mayhem ensues. It goes up, right? It just goes up. So while it's going up outside, this dude's inside the building, running up, looking out the window. They want to see what's going on. So the homie from Delma Heights was in a cell with a Pyru dude at the time. So once he sees a riot on the yard, he's like, oh, fuck, it's a riot, man, so let me get in the shower real quick. Now, just for clarity, when there's a riot on the yard, you never know how long you're going to be on lockdown.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
For sure, you're going on lockdown. But you don't know if it's going to be 48 hours or 3-4 months. So the homie was like, let me get in the shower before the tower cut it off because I want to wash my ass, right? Now, mind you, he been with his Shelly for over a year. They eat together. They done shared each other's deepest, darkest secrets, everything. This is supposed to be his boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he's from the town. He's from San Bernardino, Delma Heights, and this dude is from Compton, Pyru. So while the homie's in the shower, this dude whispers to one of his little homies, like, hey, come in the cell, hide out in the cell, and when my celly comes in, we gonna jump on him. So the homie, you know, the police rushing everybody, lock up, screaming and all that, cut off the water and all this shit. So the homie showers, he rushes out, and when he pops the door, the homie walks in, and these dudes jump on him, pop, 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 whip them all out onto the tier, put their hands on him, right? Now, mind you, this was supposed to be his boy, which at the end of the day didn't mean a fucking thing. Now, mind you, on the yard, this miscommunication and this dude that brought this knife to a fist fight that wasn't supposed to, the homie wound up getting stabbed about 4 or 5 times. Why stabbing one of their homies? The other homie from Rialto winds up getting his kidney punctures. One of the other Damus gets stabbed in the face, right? Just main chaos, right? So fast forward, we all go to the hole. Everybody goes to the hole. While in the hole, the dude who brought the knife to the fist fight, he gets DP'd on the yard, breaks his leg. They knock him out. He gets his leg broken, all that, and we're trying to move on past that. But the homie could never get past the fact that his celly jumped on him, and he kind of always wanted that paid, but, you know, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time.
Right. So what did you take from that story? I mean, because, you know, you was relatively new in the penitentiary at that time. So what did you take from the story in terms of your homie got rushed by his celly who they were both bloods but from different locations, different areas?
Well, I only kind of pieced it that, but I think I know what you were saying. So what it enforced in me is it's really no true, authentic friendships in here. You would think after you spent years eating with somebody, and let me tell you, the cell is small and like, you know, Chill, you talk about everything up in that motherfucker, especially on a level 4, because you in there basically 22 hours a day.
Right.
And that just let me know, like, man, these dudes really don't care. He was more caught up on what his homeboys would think about him being in a cell with one of these dudes, more than he was concerned about his relationship with the homie he developed over that long period of time. And it taught me when it comes to this politics, if you're going to be in it, be in it. You know what I'm saying? It's no straddling the fence. So if we're doing this time and I'm flagging something, I need to be with my comrade. I can't afford to be with anybody that doesn't believe in the same thing I'm believing and ain't representing what I'm representing, because you could be victimized and you won't even know what's going on, thinking you got a solid dude with you, but at the same time, he's really not solid because he feels pressed. So, yeah, it taught me just to stick with your own, really. Right.
And then so you were saying that eventually when you guys were sent to the hole, the Bloods from LA end up disciplining the guy who brought the knife to the yard, and so they knocked him out, and in the process of him being knocked out, his leg was broke, huh?
Yeah, he fell and his leg was broke, but I just want to reinforce, to me, it was bullshit backed up, because once, like we're all taught, once somebody puts your hands on you, what you need to walk off and think about it for. So once the homie two-pieced him and he didn't get up and fight back, he should have been DP'd right there, maybe taken off the yard. You got dudes firing on you and you ain't even fighting back. You got to be talked into it, then you run and get scared. So, I mean, you know, but yeah, they cleaned it up the best way they could, but like I said, dudes got stabbed in the face, kidney, and all that.
Right. Now, from knowing you, from me and you was locked up, we did a lot of time together. previously. You had told me before that you was locked up with you was a couple cells down from Suge Knight. So give us a little information about that. What was that like?
Yeah, so I was with Suge Knight on his first bid for a second. This was when overcrowding was happening. So from my experience with him, he was a real humble dude, right? Really easygoing. And there's a rumor that like he was paying people or something, and that wasn't the case. He was just he seemed like real normal, right? He wasn't no braggadocious or flossing type of guy, and he definitely wasn't a bully. But we used to get faded a lot. I used to do a lot of drinking, and I really, I was a young dude, so I had 1,000 questions, and he always used to answer them. And you could tell with some of the stories, you'd be like, man, this shit got to be true. Motherfucker can't be making this up.
Right. Well, if you don't mind, man, you think there's any story that you guys had that you can share with us without maybe betraying the confidence that he trusted in you to even give you some death row stories? Give us something that's you think that's all right that he has shared with you.
I will say this, but I won't mention names because this is a real popular guy, right? Mind you, Pac is dead, so it wasn't Pac, right? So, but this is a real popular death row artist, and he was sharing with me there was multiple times where this one popular death row artist was constantly, it was 2 times, he said, where this artist was constantly getting caught up with messing with young teenage girls, like 14, 15-year-old girls. And he would have to go bail them out, basically, from the parents, right? The parents would find out, they would make an issue, and basically he was paying them off to keep this guy's name out of the media, right? Because, that's bad press. And he said it happened several times, and he had a weakness for young broads. But I don't want to mention his name because obviously I don't want to cause no unnecessary firestorms.
Right. Now let me say, okay, so you're not aware, but I did a story maybe a month or so about the nature of the atmosphere in the penitentiaries, man. Once Tupac had got killed, I was telling people that out here on the West Coast, Tupac was loved, man. And even though people who didn't know him, when he passed away on them level 4s, level 3s, wherever, it was a lot of people hurt and emotionally upset about that. What was your experience when Tupac was killed?
Well, absolutely.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So now, both of our lifestyles, right? And when I mean multiple, both of our lifestyles is we have this other self, basically, right? We're in these streets, we're doing all this chaos, but at the same time, we do want a family. We do respect and love our mothers, right? But we're addicted to the street. At the time, no other artist was emulating that and telling our stories like Pac was. There wasn't nobody before Pac that could talk about exactly what we were experiencing as young black men in the streets, right? Fully banging, but at the same time, really had that inner conflict of like, man, I love this street shit, but I'm hurting my mother and all that. And I think how Pac poetry was in his music, it just made people literally fall in love with him and be willing to follow him, even to the point where it was guys in here with Thug Life tatted on them fighting. It's like you would disrespect Pac once he died, and dudes would literally lock up with you.
Right.
And never even met Pac. But I really believe that's what it was for. He was like a role model that expressed exactly what we were feeling in a way nobody else could at that time, and that's what made Pac so popular.
Right, and I definitely believe that. I had said that, me, I rap, so I said that lyrically I preferred Biggie over Pac, but I said Pac, his style, the way he rapped with passion, man, is something that a lot of people gravitated towards, and so he still has millions and millions of people who love his music today due to the way he could capture a person's feelings and emotions.
Absolutely, Pac can make you put your hand on your head and have a real thinking moment. Have a moment.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
So listen, homie, the phone's gonna hang up one more time before I go. That's locked-in.info. We got a homeboy on there, Anthony Enfield, out of Watts, been down 40 years and on accessory to murder. And the dude who actually killed him went home 7, 8 years ago. Support us, support our movement, and check us out. Chill, I appreciate you giving me this platform. Much love, homie, and much respect.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you for calling in, and also keep in mind, man, if you know anybody else who has an interesting story that's up there with you that may want to call and give their testimony, hey, give them my number, man, and give me a call as soon as you can, homie. I thank you. I appreciate you, and hopefully you'll be out here soon to enjoy this good freedom.
My boy, much love, homie. I'm gone.
All right, much love.
Much love.
So you guys heard that was another episode of my Calls Behind the Walls, man. It's a good thing that I have a chance to talk to a lot of these convicts who are trying to change their life around. What he was saying in that at the end of the conversation was there's a dude that's up there that's done about 40 years, I think he said, who had got caught up in a crime, though he was not the he was not the one who actually killed the dude. And so the dude who actually killed the guy, he went home 7 to 8 years ago, and this individual is still locked up. I don't know the circumstances surrounding the reasons that he's still locked up, but definitely some of this stuff seems extremely unfair, you know. So anyway, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to Life. I hope y'all like that episode of Calls Behind the Walls. I hope y'all continue to tune in as I bring you some more good information straight from these California penitentiaries. So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.